Hi there, I'm Godwin Selassie Dakbo, and this is Make It Legal. Just because the two of you live together and do everything married couples do together does not mean you are married. So today we ask and answer the most important question everyone has asked about validity of marriages in Ghana. What makes one marriage valid and the other not valid? Make it legal. In today's video, we are discussing the only marriages that are valid in Ghana as far as the law is concerned. You want to stay till the end and watch all of it and be sure that your marriage or the one you are about to contract is also part of the one that are valid in Ghana. Ghanaian law recognizes three types of marriages, but before we get to the three important marriages that are valid under Ghanaian law, I want you to appreciate the fact that marriages are so important to every society. In Ghana, marriages play an important role in our cultural development. Society depends on marriages to raise the next future generation of leaders, of professionals, of lawyers, of farmers, of every other category of industry depend on the family. And the family is a product of marriages. So marriages are so important to us. But what at all is a marriage? What are marriages? What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comment section. But I'm going to give you my definition for us to work with. It is not actually mine. This is a judge by name Lord Penzas. It's a judge in the UK who gave the definition of marriage in a popular case referred to as Hyde versus Hyde. He was focusing on Christian marriages, and he said that as far as Christian marriages are concerned, they are voluntary marriage between a man and a woman for life, to the exclusion of all others. So his focus was that it is a marriage between a man and a woman. In fact, he was specific. He said one man and one woman, and then it's for life. And then he also said that it is voluntary. And then he also said that it is to the exclusion of all others. Now, his definition points to four key elements. That marriage must be voluntary, and then marriage must be between a man and a woman. Of course, you can talk about all that you have heard in society, in the developed countries about men marry men, women marry women, and all of that. But for our discussion today, we are focusing on what is recognized in the Ghanaian law as at now, which is a man and a woman are the ones that are qualified to marry. He focuses on a man and a woman voluntarily agreeing to marry, and that is going to be for life. Of course, there are instances where divorce comes in to end that definition he has about for life. So when parties are divorcing or dissolving the marriage, then the issue of for life doesn't come in again. So unless a court comes in to dissolve the marriage, it is meant for life, and it to take place to the exclusion of all others. Let's get straight to understand the three types of marriage that are valid in Ghana. I want you to watch the video to the end and be sure to find out your marriage or the one you're about to contract is also part of the one that are valid in Ghana. What are these three types of marriage that are valid under Ghanaian law? Number one is what we call customary marriages. Customary marriages are valid marriages under Ghanaian law. Whether you have done wedding or not, they are valid as any other marriage. Then we also have what we call ordinance marriage, also known as Christian marriage or monogamous marriage. Then the last but not the least is what we call Islamic or Mohammedan marriage. Now, it appears as though the types of marriages follows the three types of religion that are common in Ghana: the Christian religion, the Islamic religion, and the traditional religion. But I mean, marriages are not specifically for those religions. What it means is that even though you are Christian, you can have a valid ordinance marriage, you can have a valid customary marriage, and some Muslims can also have valid customary marriage, and even some of them can actually have valid Christian marriage. It all depends on the mode of celebration of the marriage and how it is actually contracted. So we'll delve a little more into the first type, which is customary marriages in Ghana. Which ones are valid? Which ones are not valid? There are four important elements that has been agreed upon under Ghanaian law that must come in all types of customary marriages, no matter the community customary law that is applicable. Those four elements must be part. But before I mention the four elements, if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We need you to subscribe to the channel. You see the subscription button there? Click it. Yes, do it now. Waiting for you. Have you clicked it? Good. Like the video. And please click share to share with a friend. Drop a comment. Tell us what you think about the video and the types of marriages we are talking about. So let's delve more into customary marriages in Ghana. What you need to know is that no matter the community's customary law that is applicable to the marriage, it must have these four elements. If not, the law will say it's not valid. So the popular customary laws that usually apply to marriages in Ghana, we talk about the Ewe customary rules, we talk about the Fanti customary rules, we talk about the Ghana customary, they are the popular ones. So what are the four elements that must be present in all these types before they be valid as customary law? Number one is that the two of them must agree to live as a man and a wife, as we call it. They must agree to live as what? A man and a wife together. So it starts with them. It starts with the two of you. You, the man, and you, the woman, must first agree that, you know what, we really are okay to be together, to live together as a man and a wife. I don't know whether you know, I kept emphasizing a man and a wife. Why am I not saying husband and wife? Under customary law, the man is a man in any marriage. Whether he's married to you today, he could be married to another person tomorrow. So because of that, he's not yet a husband, we say in customary law. He's just a man. So he was a man before he married you. But because he married you in customary law, he's still a man. What that means is that he's a potential candidate for another marriage. That's what you get to understand the customary law. Customary law marriages are such that the man can marry more. That's the first element. The second element is that the man's family must agree or consent to the man taking that woman as his wife. If the family does not agree, the marriage won't be recognized under customary law to be a valid marriage. The third element is that the woman's family must also agree or consent to the woman accepting that man as her husband or her man in the marriage. If she does not accept it, if her family does not accept it, the marriage won't be recognized as valid in customary law. You should know this. The last but certainly not the least is actually one of the important elements of customary law marriage. What is it? It's called consummation by cohabitation. Have you heard that word before? Consummation by cohabitation. In other words, when the two of you agree to marry together, both families have accepted it. After you've done all the necessary right they prescribe, they may ask you to bring a drink or bring certain items together. Once you bring all of those items, all that is left is that you must go home and live together and have the first sexual intercourse. Without the first sexual intercourse after the marriage could be considered as void, even though you have agreed to live together and both families have accepted that the two of you live together. They could be considered as void. The last element is very, very important. You must go and have the first sexual intercourse to seal the marriage. That is about the four elements of the customary law marriages that are contracted in Ghana. Once those four elements are present, the marriage can be said to be valid under customary law. So let me share three popular customary law marriages you may be seeing in Ghana and maybe you probably don't know about. The first one is an unmarried man getting married to an unmarried woman. So how does that even happen? So the way it would happen depends on the particular communities involved. If the people are Ewes or Fantis or Akans, then the customary laws that apply to Ewes, Akans, or Fantis will apply to them. Will determine how they'll contract their marriage. So one could be that the man takes a drink, goes to the woman's family, and tell the woman's family with his family that he wants to marry this lady. And once the woman's family accepted it and accepted the drink, asked them to bring A, B, C, D items. Once those items are brought, they accepted the items and said, we are okay, the two of you can go and live together as husband and wife. That can be the end of the marriage. Then they go home and have first sexual intercourse, and that seals the marriage and is valid forever as any other marriage. It can be that simple. Second common one you may be seeing is where an unmarried man, gets an unmarried woman pregnant and takes responsibility for the child or the pregnancy and expresses interest in getting married to the woman. So he takes drinks as required by the family to go and see the woman's family to claim responsibility for the pregnancy and say that I am the one who impregnated this lady. I want to marry her. Once the family of the woman accept the drink and accept that the man goes ahead to marry the woman, that is a valid customary law marriage and they can go ahead to live their life forever as people who are married, just like anyone else who has done the biggest of all weddings and all of that. They are validly married in Ghana. This type you often see is where both unmarried persons, a married man and a married woman, decided to get married in or under ordinance. But before they do the ordinance marriage, they do what we call customary marriage. Most of you may know it as traditional marriage. They do that one. That one in itself is actually very valid as a customary marriage. The only difference is that you realize that they oftentimes give a Bible and a ring at that ceremony. In law, when you have a customary law marriage or customary marriage, and you give a Bible and a ring, the law construes that as a promise that you will convert that marriage to ordinance marriage, that you will change that marriage from being a customary law marriage to an ordinance marriage. And what it means is that if in the future you do not change that customary law marriage to ordinance marriage, the woman can have a claim against you for breach of promise to marry under ordinance, although you have validly married her in customary law. So when you have given a ring and a Bible at the time of your customary law marriage, just have in mind that you have already made a promise that the marriage will not remain a customary law forever. You will convert it from customary law to ordinance marriage. We'll continue part 2 of this video. Get to watch part 2 so that we discuss more about the ordinance marriage and Islamic marriage. I bet you want to know what I have to say about ordinance marriages in Ghana. Thank you. Please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share them, and be part of us. Let's know what you think in the comment section. Once again, I am Godwin Selassie Dapo. This is Make It Legal. Make it legal.